today's a special day. As I said, we have three wonderful speakers joining us today. But today is a little bit of a celebration for us, and it is really an opportunity for us to take a deep dive into one part of Feed the Planet. At Feed the Planet, we have numerous initiatives to really change the world around us, right? To change it for the better, to make our world more sustainable through the actions that we do. And essentially, what we're looking at today is one part of what happened to my screen here. To look at one there we go. To look at one part of Feed the Planet, which is called Like a Chef, and we're going to dig into what that is. But it's something that we are incredibly proud of. And the reason is, Like a Chef essentially is, and we're going to talk all about this, but this is a program we launched. Cosimo, help me out. 5 years ago? 5 years ago?
5.5
years ago? 5.5. Okay.
5.5.
So, but it was a program that, we sort of looked around the world and said, there are people who need opportunity. They need economic opportunity. And we said, we can provide that in the food world. And so we started this program called Like a Chef. The really amazing thing is that we are now crossing this threshold of our 1,000th graduate, which means that we have changed the lives of over 1,000 people. And when you think about what does World Chefs do in the world, I mean, that is something, we as an organization can be incredibly proud of. So with that, I want to introduce our three panelists today. So we have Cosimo Scarano. Hello, Cosimo. Welcome.
Hello.
And Cosimo, we've worked together for a long time, so we may have some jokes back and forth here. But he is now the head of the Electrolux Food Foundation, which was a big thing. And when we heard the news, we all drank champagne. And so he had lots of experience, years of experience delivering social impact through food and education. He was previously responsible for the coordination of the Like a Chef program and is now in charge of the global strategy for it. The clear mission, both for him and the foundation, is to inspire sustainable eating and cooking habits in the society and support people in need. Originally, he is Italian. He's lived 5 years in Brazil, which is where he was working on the first Like a Chef program. And I'm looking at your bio here, and then I learned something about you I didn't know. He is a published writer. Ready for this? With 2 romance novels written in Italian and Portuguese that have been published in 4 countries. Who knew, Cosimo? All right. So our next panelist today is Ashraf Kamal. So hello, Ashraf, who is joining us from Egypt. He is the managing director of the Egyptian Chefs Association. And he comes to us with 17 years of experience in fundraising and building long-lasting relationships with national and international entities. Ashraf is also a consultant with GIZ, which specifically works on the EDZAR program, aimed at developing 200 SME food companies. As a member of the International Visitor Leadership Program and the Culinary Exchange Program in the USA, Ashraf has gained valuable insights and experience in the culinary industry, both locally and internationally. Ashraf, welcome from Egypt. And the last—
Hi, welcome for everybody.
Thank you. The last panelist is Priscilla Silva, who is the volunteer chef at the Like a Chef program in Curitiba, Brazil. So Priscilla is a gastronomist with a major, this is so cool, with a major in international cuisine and boulangerie. She works as a gastronomy teacher and Like a Chef volunteer since 2020. She is passionate about food, that is 100% true, and also shares knowledge and experiences that encourage sustainable gastronomy and entrepreneurship. And so that sort of puts the Like a Chef program together: gastronomy, entrepreneurship, education, changing lives. So she's also in charge of product development and analysis at Electrolux Brazil. So welcome to all of you. And we're just going to jump in because we have so much to talk about. So Cosimo, I want to begin this with you. And maybe for everybody listening, could you give just a brief overview on what is Like a Chef? Where are we in the world? And I mean, it's kind of like boring here, but numbers. Where are we at today? Numbers. All yours.
Sure. Thank you, Chris, and thank you everyone who is joining us today. We are super excited to celebrate this number that we achieved during these weeks. 1,000 people trained. It's something that we couldn't imagine when we started the program back in 2017, and it just makes us feel so proud to see these numbers, what we have achieved, the challenges that we overcame during the past years to get where we are today. The Like a Chef program, it's very difficult to explain just in few words what's the potential and magnitude of this program, but very simply, it's a culinary training program that we offer to people in need, people that are vulnerable, both economically or socially, people that need an opportunity to receive this professional training from qualified chefs and trainers to learn a new profession and be able to start a new chapter of their lives, to be able to provide for themselves, for their families, and to provide to enrich the communities where they are based in. So this is the spirit that with which we started the first edition of the program in the end of 2017 in Curitiba, Brazil. And since then, it really never stopped. We continue to grow the program, replicate new waves in Curitiba. Then we went to another Brazilian city, which is São Carlos, close to Sao Paulo. Then we had our first international edition, international meaning outside Brazil, in Moscow in 2018. And then we understood that the program could be adapted to many different realities, different target audiences. And since then, we then open new locations in Poland, Sweden, Egypt. We are just launching the new location in St. Lucia in the Caribbean, and we are opening probably 3 additional locations in the next month. So very proud. We have 9 active centers, 1,000 people. We are already gonna go well beyond that number very soon. So each one of these people has been impacted in certain form by the program, and their local communities have been impacted.
So just really fast, Cosimo, for everyone listening. So how long is this program? If I'm a student and I enroll in this, if you will, how long am I doing this, and kind of what is the goal of the education by the end of it?
The duration can vary from 5 to 10 weeks, depends on where we are launching the program and what kind of target audience we are working with. But basically, the person that joins the program doesn't have to be doesn't have to have a previous experience in working in a professional kitchen. So we really start from the basics: hygiene, safety, how to store food, and everything like that. And then we go day by day into different kind of things until people can get, in the end, a certification that qualify them as kitchen professionals. So enables them to find a job in a professional kitchen.
So I think the point here is it's a truly beginning knowledge. The idea was just enough to get them started, but we also found that some people go into entrepreneurship and start little businesses, etc. But I will say just one more shout out to Cosimo here. You know, when the pandemic happened, we were in trouble. You know, what do you do a culinary education when there's a pandemic? And you know, we could have let this program die, and we pivoted and worked very, very hard. Cosimo very, very hard to figure out how to make this continue. So I think that part of the shout out to you, Cosimo, and the success of this program, not giving up. But all right, we have 2 other wonderful panelists joining us here. And I want to just ask you briefly, you know, how did you sort of get into this? What was your path into it? And kind of where's your heart in it, if I could ask you that? And maybe Priscilla, since you're sort of in Curitiba at the first site, maybe you want to kick that off.
Okay. Actually, I just started with the project in 2020. It was quite in the middle of the pandemic, so it was a hard time. And I can tell you that besides all the trouble that we had to get all those students together and everything, we had part of the training actually online to kind of solve that situation of getting people together most of the time. And we had that those groups quite reduced, right, to get the training in the kitchen. But once we got over that situation from the pandemics, the project kept on growing during all this time. And I believe we are doing a great job impacting people's lives. They really get involved. They really try to learn as much as they can to change their lives and their community lives. And that is really, really passionate.
How did you get into this? I mean, what led you to this program?
I used to be a consultant in the food industry, and I used to give some training for people inside and outside companies. I was already a gastronomy teacher as well, and I volunteered just to get to know the project. I actually participated in one project as a listener to see how it was and how could I contribute with the project. And then I talked to the coordinator, to the local coordinator, and said, I can do it. I can really share some of my knowledge and some of my passion with these people to get them involved and to change their lives. So I actually assisted one of the courses, the whole course, and I graduated with them. And I said, now I can do it. Now I see all we have and all we can improve with these people, right? And since then, I've been a volunteer, and I'm really, really proud of the project. I really love it.
Yeah, you have no shortage of passion, Priscilla, which you bring to it, which is beautiful.
Yeah, that's nice.
Ashraf, so in Egypt, the program is newer than the one that Priscilla is at. Tell me a little bit about, where your heart is in this. And I think also maybe the other sort of second question there is, how is the Egyptian Chefs Association involved in the Like a Chef program there?
First of all, I would like to thank all of you for letting me be part of this webinar. I think we start in talks with Electrolux in 2019, I think before the pandemic. And then I think now with the 2022, we started the first wave with the Egyptian Chefs Association. That is the ECA. We are involved not only to train the Egyptian chefs, but also we're involved in training or add something to the community for poor people. They don't have the money to get skills or knowledge or have nothing to do to open the door for them to find jobs or to earn money. So we involved with the Electrolux in 2022, the first wave. We involved by I think we provide the curriculum, because I think the situation in Egypt is different than the others. So we have our own curriculum, and then because we say that is people, they need really a foundation of the skills. I mean, how to start to be a chef. To be a chef, it needs a lot of time. It's not just only a few weeks or even a few months. So we start with them for that and say, this is we open the door for you to earn knowledge. And then we hire a trainer to provide the trainings. And we have our own trainers that are already familiar with provide this type of curriculums. The second, I think from the wave to others, we started to add some improvement. And now I think we also involve to find participants. So we involve in different ways. And I hope that we can improve other parts of the program by also to follow up with the graduates, not just give them the training, but also follow up with them in the future.
Excellent. Thank you very much. One of the things that Ashraf mentioned, which is really important, is that, and Cosimo mentioned a little bit earlier, we learned pretty quickly that, the first curriculum was in Brazil, and it was kind of Brazilian. And then when we moved it to Russia, it was like, well, we're not going to teach them what Brazilian folks eat for breakfast. And so we had to change it. So the program does change as it goes around the world, but the mission of helping people who are socioeconomically disadvantaged. That continues. So, Cosimo, well, maybe we'll just really quickly, Cosimo, how are people selected? I mean, there's so much need in the world. How do you pick?
Well, we usually try to understand before launching the project into a new location, which are the needs in that specific location. And when I say location, it's not like a whole region or a very big city. I mean the neighborhoods around the facility where the program will be hosted, because we of course understand that the vulnerable people that we want to target, they go through many challenges in their lives. So it's not just about offering these people an opportunity to learn some knowledge for free. It's about putting them into the conditions, the right conditions to attend our program. And this means that they don't need to spend a lot of time to travel to our facility to be present in the lessons. They don't have to spend money to be there. And we need to provide something valuable that they can use right away to improve their life conditions. So we usually, when we launch a new location, we connect with the local authorities, we connect with local NGOs or organizations that operate in that local community that we want to launch the program, and decide together with them which is going to be our target audience, because we want this opportunity to be valuable. We want this opportunity to be useful for the people that we work with. It's not about just putting a certain number of people into a kitchen. We want them to understand the value of this opportunity and do the best use that they can with what we try to teach them.
Excellent, thank you. So we talked about 1,000 lives. 1,000 lives changed. I think about what 1,000 people looks like if you put them in a long line. It's a lot of lives, but that's still a number. And so I think, as I think back to one of our board meetings where we were in Sweden and we had an opportunity for the program there, for the women in that program to cook for us. And they were Syrian women. I will never forget the looks on their faces as they made these dishes of food with pride. I mean, they were so proud to bring us this food. I will never forget that look on their face and knowing what we were doing for them. It was a really beautiful moment in my life. But for the three of you, you've had opportunities to meet people, to know who's in the program. Is there maybe one story that you could tell us that helps us understand really what we're doing? Put it in human terms. So, Cosimo, do you want to start, or I'm putting you on the spot?
I can. I mean, as you said, the beauty of this program is inside the stories that we hear from it. It's not just about graduating a group of 20 people. It's about knowing what these opportunities mean to each one of them. And it's really hard to choose just one story. I mean, I remember one from Brazil, one woman from Brazil that just got out of a toxic relationship and was living with a couple of very little kids, 2 toddlers, and didn't have the means to provide food for them. And thanks to our program, found the strength and the knowledge to open a small business that was basically running from the window of our little house in the local community in Curitiba. And in that way, she could restart a life basically after this thing that had occurred in her life. But also in Poland, we just worked. We delivered 3 waves to involving Ukrainian refugees. So understanding the opportunity that was given to these people that just had to flee from a country and start from one week to the other a new life into an unknown country where they didn't know language or laws or the job market, anything. We were able to provide them with something concrete to start building their new lives in this phase of their existence. And I mean, this is just very, very few ones. I mean, probably Priscilla and Ashraf, they know something even more meaningful. But I want to insist on this point that in each location that we have the program, each person that approaches the program and that gets into our kitchen, that we get in contact, has a story, has been impacted deeply in some way that make us find the strength also to go ahead and continue to grow this program and offer this program to more and more people around the world.
Okay, Priscilla, I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay, I have quite a few stories, but there is one, as Cosimo said, about people that actually open like a little window in the community to actually sell what they learned and everything, and ways to provide their family a better life. I had this one situation. There was an immigrant that actually participated on the program. We have lots of immigrants in Curitiba, and they tend to concentrate in certain communities. So they kind of get together with people from their own country and sort of help each other, right? And there was this one girl 2 or 3 waves ago. She was from Haiti, and she started the program. She didn't actually have the money to attend all the classes to get the bus to get there. And she told me this the very first day. And I said, there is no problem. We'll try to find a way for you to have all the contents we have in the class. And one day I was talking to her and I said, what's your dream about it, right? Because you came to Brazil looking for a better opportunity, for a better life and everything. And she had 3 kids and no husband and 3 small children. And she really needed something to get money and to provide them with better opportunity. And then she said, I really want to learn as much as I can because I want to sell Brazilian food. And I asked her, why do you want to sell Brazilian food? Because in my community, many people open little windows and everything, small places to sell Brazilian food. And then I asked her, why don't you think about selling your own food from your own country? Aren't your neighbors from IT as well? And she said, yes, there are many of us there. And then I told her, okay, you are going to learn as much as you can, the best you can about food safety, about all techniques we can actually share with you. And you're going to promise you're going to share your food. You're going to sell your own food from your own country, because I really believe that is a great business for you, because you have your neighbors that actually miss carrying food, right, from your country. And there was a successful history, because she's now selling, I believe, for more than a year, food from her own country. And she thanked me a long time after. And she said, you know what, you believed in me and you gave me this idea of sharing my food, my passion, and my history from my country, right? And then now she's actually sharing that feeling with her neighbors and with the community and with people that actually want to try something from her country, right? So she didn't need to forget her back history, right? Besides the fact that she's in Brazil, she's living a new life, she still has that story in her heart, right? And she's sharing that through food, and she's providing the children with better opportunities as well. So that was really something that I will never forget.
That's really fantastic, because, you know, and I'm sort of envisioning, you know, the look on her face when she says, thank you.
Exactly.
You know, that, you know, we, you know, collectively have this program that helped her, you know, change her life. 1 of 1,000. Ashraf, can I lean on you, perhaps?
Yes. But you know that all type of programs had stories, and especially it had a success story. So I remember that's one of when we design a program even for to train the fisher women, the women they sell the fishing on the roads. They don't have even the way how to keep the fish in a proper way. Second, they don't gain or gain any money by the end of the day. So we have one of our partners asked us to design a program. It's like a chef, the same like a chef. So I remember that is when we have the women, 20 women already, they don't know how to read and write, and you need to explain to them the terminology of food safety and how to handle fish or something like that. So as if you are talking in like a rocket science or something like that to them. So at the first, the women were skeptical and hesitant to participate. They never received any formal training before, and we unsure of what to expect. So first they started like a reluctant. So they don't want to leave their fish selling, and they are worried if they are going to lose their income. Why we have to join this type of programs? And then the trainer, they started to gain their trust day by day. And finally, they discovered that they didn't even improve their enough handling skills, but also increase their efficiency and their profitability in the long run. So with the program itself, they start learning new techniques for how to debone the fish and practice the different skills under the guidance of the trainer themselves. So they started to realize that it's not only beneficial, but also enjoyable and really empowering these women. So by the end of the training, we can see when we have the graduation ceremony, the tears in their eyes, because they ask more. So I said, this is a few weeks ago, you are resistant, you don't want to join. Now you can see their tears, they want more and more. We start really opening the doors for this type of poor people, from being asking support from the government to feed their families. Now they start to be really a positive to the community. They start to be models and ambassadors for others to join the programs. So this is what we need. Yani, this is what we have to see with these people, because you can find the models, not only just ask people to join, but they can see the models. Really, it was they had gained valuable skills, increased their income, and most importantly, discover their own potential and the capacity for growth. After we finish in this program, we follow with them. We find that is 4 of them, they combine together and they open a shop. They sell the fish really, because by the end of that, they start to be like entrepreneur. And now after 3 years, I hear that now they open the 5th branches. So we are proud of that. Yeah, really, they start now to be shop owners. And they hanging in the shops, the certificate, they get it from us. So I think this is type of story, yani we support us even we see that we do something good for the community.
Ashraf, thank you so much. I mean, this is, yeah, you can just imagine. And you know, I would say just 2 comments. First of all, if you heard everybody talked about food safety, you know, again, we focus on the basics, you know, food safety, yes, basic skills, etc. The other thing that I think, you know, if we think about, you know, how many lives we're changing, and you heard these stories, not only are people starting their own businesses, but they're also going into the food service world as well, you know, and starting in hotels or restaurants and getting that first job. And then, as we all know, can work their way up. Cosimo, we are like so running out of time. And unfortunately, I don't think we have time for questions today. But just like every other one of these, you know, the overall theme is we learn to be inspired to do something. And so we've learned about this program, this amazing program that changes lives all over the world. The big question, Cosimo, to you is, how can members in World Chefs, people who are listening right now, how can they get involved? What can they do? Tell us about that.
Well, first of all, of course, the call to action that we send to the chefs community, especially in the countries where we already have a Like a Chef program being implemented, is if they want to join us in this journey of volunteering to share their knowledge with the people that we have in our kitchen, in our program. It's about sharing, it's about connecting on a human level with people, helping them to envision a new career for their lives. So the first thing that people can do is join an existing program, be volunteers, be trainers into our program. The second thing is, of course, if there is no Like a Chef program into your country or around you, there is a possibility that we can evaluate the possibility of starting a new Like a Chef location, wherever you're based. So I know that there is a form that you provide at World Chef for people to get in contact and express their availability to donate some time, basically, and some knowledge to the implementation of this and other programs as well, because we need to say that we have a set of programs, but also for the Like a Chef one. So we really invite you to get in contact with us, explain your experience, your motivation, your passion for culinary, and why you think it's important for this program and to educate more and more people. Because as you said, Chris, I mean, basically we are teaching people a new skills and a new profession, but it's also a way of changing the food and beverage industry from the inside. We train new professionals, we give them a new sustainable perspective on their profession, and this is how we want to give our contribution to make the world a bit more sustainable, and be sure that we can still protect our planet and have it in the next decades and for the next generation.
Well, Cosimo, that's a perfect wrap up to this session. I will say, by the way, that in the chat, if the chat box is open, and if it's not, I encourage you to do that really quick. Lynn in Paris just posted here that a link. So if you're curious to learn more about the Like a Chef program at Feed the Planet and learn more about it, maybe you're like, hey, I'd like to get involved. I want to give back. I want to be one of those people that on graduation day, you can look into the faces of those graduates and know that, I gave part of my time, part of my knowledge, part of my expertise to change the world. And that's what we do. That's what Feed the Planet's about changing the world. It's about changing the world for sustainability. And in this case, changing the world for people and changing the lives of people. It's an amazing thing that we do. And I think something that we're very, very proud of. Of course, we do it, with the Electrolux Food Foundation. We do it with ISIC International, with our partners. But I just, want to say that this is something that just makes me smile, really is. So with that, I need to wrap this up. Priscilla, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your continued work. Ashraf, the same. One of these days, I've been to Curitiba. Ashraf, you're on the list. I want to come to Egypt and see what you're doing firsthand.
Sure.
But thank you both for your work. Yes. And Cosimo, of course, you've been with us on this journey from the very beginning and continue to do amazing things. So as always, thank you. And Lynn and Ayla, who are there in Paris, thank you for being the behind the curtains people making everything work. Without you, nothing works. So with that, thank you all for joining today. And for everybody who joined us, thank you for your time. Time is a gift. And we'll see you next month.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice
Bye-bye.
day. Bye.